Well, doesn't look like we're gonna be getting a white Christmas this year. Rain and plus 10 Celsius. It's pretty uncommon in these parts of southern Ontario. It's a good thing we got a nice, dry, heated shop to work in. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we got ourselves a 2013 Honda Civic non-SI. It's basically as base as you can get. It's got the stick shift, it's got the manual locks, power windows, but manual locks. Fortunately, the owner of this one has had an aftermarket lock system installed. So he actually has a fob that he can unlock and lock the doors, which is good. And by the owner of this vehicle, I mean my father. Yes, we are doing a government job today. This sucker, I don't know if the exhaust is leaking yet, but I did notice when I put the snow tires on for him that there's going to be an exhaust leak in the near future. Let's get this thing up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, as I was saying earlier, we're lucky that we do have a nice, clean, dry, warm place to work for these cold, or I guess mild in this instant, winters here in Canada. However, even when you do, you're still getting rained on the whole time, as you can see. This is just kind of what we deal with this time of year. Anyways, enough complaining. Let's see what the problem is here. So, as you can tell, that sucker right there is not supposed to have a crack in it. Don't ask me why this happens so often on these Civics. This has been a problem this generation and the previous generation. This one is still attached. Like I said, I noticed this the last time I had the car up. And we're gonna be doing some preventative maintenance. But what normally happens is this rots out so bad that it just breaks completely off. And then the car sounds like a race car to the customer. And then what happens after that is they go to their local Honda dealer or their shop that they've chose to work on their vehicle. And most of them call this up the supplier and say, hey, I need an over axle pipe for a blah, blah, blah Civic. And the supplier says, oh, you have to buy the whole muffler unit for that. And that's where this puppy comes in. This is an over axle pipe for a 1999 Honda Civic. Back when you could buy just the over axle pipe. And guess what? It is the perfect fit for this application. We gotta do a little bit of modification, but we can save them having to buy a muffler, especially these cheap aftermarket garbage mufflers. I'd like to keep this muffler on it as long as possible. All right. Stick this thing in a place where it's not gonna get rained on. Let's stick this in a place where I'm not gonna hit my head on it. Now let's go to work. So, I just realized that I'm an amateur and I wasn't recording for a whole bunch of this footage. I shut the GoPro off and I forgot to turn the sucker back on. But since I left you guys, it has basically just been kind of a smorgasbord of small problems. One, when I went to pull this bolt in, this one on this side, it pulled the threads with it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So I kind of had to just cobble together something. I have the old bolt back in there, and then I just put the nut that this came with. It did kind of thread in through here, through the last couple threads, but then I just put the nut on the back just to be sure that that never comes off of there. This isn't quite the right exhaust clamp for this sucker. I expanded it a tiny bit too much, and the clamp I kind of had to force on, but we got her on there. She's clamped down nice and tight. That ain't gonna leak. And then the last issue that I ran into, I'm actually gonna post it on my TikTok, I'll play the clip right here. You know, when you buy exhaust parts, that company's expecting you to fix some leaks or repair some leaks in an exhaust system, not create them. Are you freaking kidding me? Another quality part. So I had to weld that sucker up and prevent that from leaking in the future. So that's always fun. As you can see, that over axle pipe fits like a glove. That ain't gonna make any noise. And we got to retain the factory muffler. Just put a little exhaust clamp there. If you guys want to weld it, you can weld it, be my guest, but I like exhaust clamps, especially around here where welds don't take well to the rust and crust, and these clamps usually last a tiny bit longer, not much, but a tiny bit longer than welding everything back together before it rots out again. But anyways, yeah, that's it. The mufflers on these usually run about 300 to 400 bucks for an aftermarket one. I don't even want to know how much Honda would want for a muffler assembly on this sucker. And you can get that little over axle pipe there that we just put in for like 30, 40 bucks at your local parts store or online. Anyways, I got a couple other odds and ends to do on this sucker while it's here, but I won't bore you with all that stuff. It's a bunch of little stuff, some filters. I gotta install that airbag pigtail that I picked up at the scrapyard that you guys saw in the last video. And we all know I'm not gonna film that and have everybody blow up on me in the comment section. So for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.